Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Classified Captures. Steve here, and today we've got a wild lineup of clips ranging from strange UFO sightings to clips of cryptids we never even thought could exist. Ready to have your mind blown? Mine was. Let's dive right in. Just in case you were wondering, that's a deer carcass, and yes, we actually do have a good reason for showing off and starting with this one. A woman was out one day when she noticed this deer carcass on a land in British Columbia, Canada. Curious about the whole thing, she did what any enthusiast would do, set up trail cams. After a carcass had been there for a couple of days, these humanoid beings showed up and somehow started devouring it. Remember, it had been there for days and was probably already decomposing, so to see people just show up and start eating, well, that was a shocker. It was no Wagyu-grade beef, let me tell you, but they ate it anyway, which got the woman wondering. Who or what are these beings or people, and why were they consuming a decomposing animal? A search for answers led her to upload the clip on one of the paranormal platforms where individuals wasted no time dissecting the clip and cooking up theories. Initially, many thought they were probably human, which were high on something, aka hard drugs. While that seems plausible, others thought they could just be cultists engaging in a ritual using the dead animal's body. This theory remained the long-standing and unchallenged theory until someone pointed out something many missed. If you pay attention to this part of the clip, you should see that the lady's hands don't look normal or natural. It's longer than the typical humans, giving the lady an odd and quite frankly disturbing look. This made some think that they were perhaps shapeshifters taking a human form to enable them to move around. Some also felt it was probably she was holding a dismembered part of the deer, and that this being or person was probably most definitely a feral human. Well, I've watched this clip over and over and concluded that it could be any of these theories, but you've seen the clip, so what do you think? Since I mentioned feral humans, I might as well talk about this shocking news I came across.
Officials say it has been happening in some of Louisville's poorest neighborhoods. Those who gave say the person claimed the offer was only available to passport customers. They asked participants to swab the inside of their cheeks. Some people who participated say they were told it was a test for cancer.
There are actually companies out there paying people for a sample of their DNA, and it's not even funny. This first surfaced online when an individual in Kentucky mentioned that he had been approached by individuals in an unmarked white van about selling his DNA for them for cash. Once he shared his story, other individuals started mentioning they had been approached by individuals in unmarked vans as well. Despite the fact that the van was unmarked, they mentioned they worked for a well-known health company, and the local media contacted them to ask why they were buying people's DNA. If your guess is as good as mine, the company mentioned they hadn't sanctioned individuals to do this and were even shocked by the news. Also, if they were going to do something like this, they would have used their own vans rather than unmarked ones. This got everyone wondering who was buying the DNA samples and what did they even want them for. As much as we wish we could tell you, they never found out who the actual individuals were and why they were buying people's DNA. Once the information went online, however, theories started coming up. Some stated that it was most likely the work of shady organizations buying people's DNA for the purposes of making bioengineered weapons. 10 years ago, that would have sounded funny, but given what we know now, not so much. Some also mentioned that DNA does have some use on the dark web, but refuse to go any further. There's also the probability of them looking for unique strands of human DNA to deal with deficiency or enhance bioweapons. The possibilities are endless, however, none of them are pleasant. So do you have any unique theories? Kindly share them with us in the comments section. Also, if you've been approached by any of these people, kindly let us know what it was like and what exactly that they said to you. Remember the strange radio transmissions we shared from New Jersey late last year? Well, some of you thought it was a bunch of high schoolers messing with the locals, and for a moment I felt that was a possibility given only New Jersey locals were affected. Well, the story has changed. It's happening in Mexico as well. At least it did on New Year's Eve. While many of us were enjoying a peaceful night with our families, friends, gadgets, or whatever it is that we like to enjoy, Rafael Rivas, who was out with his friends on a drive, experienced something rather unusual. It started with them spotting something rather strange looking in the sky. Naturally, they paused to take a good look at it, and after doing that for a few minutes, they were convinced it was a UFO. While that was odd and a little exciting, it wasn't the only unusual thing that would happen to them that night. After the UFO had gone out of sight, their radio started acting up until it started playing some strange frequencies. For almost an hour, they could do nothing about it. Once it was midnight, however, the sound suddenly stopped. It wasn't forever, though, as it picked up again at 1 a.m. and lasted for 30 minutes. The experience was strange and outright bizarre and left them wondering what had happened. The confusion led them sharing their experience online, which had got the paranormal community talking once again. First America, then Mexico. Are the aliens attempting to make first contact? Are they communicating with someone? Or could they instead be looking for one of their own? Well, it's hard to say at this point, but what do you guys also think? Is there more to this story, or are we giving it more credence than it deserves? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments section. While you share your thoughts on that, take a look at this image captured by two hikers in the Rocky Mountains. Jersey and Camille were descending Long Peak in the Rocky Mountains and decided to take some selfies, because why not? After taking as many pictures, they returned home and decided to go through their images. While everything checked out and they captured the beautiful views of the Rocky Mountains, one particular image picked up something they had never seen in all their time hiking there. It was a tiny yet significant bit of one particular image. They zoomed in, and they saw what looked like a large gray creature clinging to the side of the mountain, at least by their interpretation. Judging by its size relative to the surroundings in the image, it had to be at least 20 feet tall, and well, that's not possible, is it? This led them to one of our paranormal platforms where they came seeking answers. Many who saw it thought the ladies might be onto something and may have encountered a giant, maybe even an alien. However, as the post became popular, there were some in the community who felt this was nothing but either snow or even a rock formation. Looking at it, I can see why they thought that. It's possible this might be nothing more than pareidolia. But what do you guys also see? Do you see a 20-foot monster hiding in the rocks, or do you see nothing but snow and rocks? Let's hear your thoughts. What do you see when you look at this picture? Nothing unusual, right? Well, that's because a grandma who was out with a granddaughter decided to take this beautiful picture to commemorate the moment. But who takes one single photo when you can take multiple? Well, that's where things started to go wrong for this grandma. Take a look at the second. You see it, don't you? There's what looks like the shadow of a man in that image with the little girl. The funny thing is the grandma never noticed the being or even felt like they were remotely in danger until she reviewed the image when they got home. Many in her family were alarmed by the presence of a dark figure next to the young granddaughter, but Grandma was not. According to her, the dark shadow is definitely her late husband, and he was hanging out with her and making sure that she and her granddaughter were safe. Many accept this interpretation, but it's one she's got to accept. What do you guys think? And just like that, we travel back in time to the 21st of December 2024, where a man captured something extraordinary on US soil. The man in question was simply going about his daily activities as always when he heard a crackling sound in the sky. He looked up and saw this great streak. It was almost as if something or a higher power had divided the sky in half. As expected, he was startled and decided to record the clip and upload it online. Many who saw this were equally surprised, but not us, because we've seen this before. It happened once in Mexico last year, and the people experienced the exact same thing. There's a loud sound, they look up, and see a streak in the sky. Comparing both clips, we're tempted to believe there's something very fast moving in the sky and leaving the trail we are seeing, but what? Many in the paranormal community suspect it might be an alien craft, but Aaron, our conspiracy expert, has got a different opinion. He thinks the Air Force might be running secret tests with its supersonic aircraft. If you've been following this channel closely, then you know last year we shared stories confirming that the superpowers, aka the US, Russia, and even China, were developing supersonic crafts capable of going around the world in a few hours. Aaron believes these crafts are being tested secretly by our governments in the atmosphere. According to him, although they largely go unnoticed, sometimes they make so much noise and leave trails like this one in the clip. I know this one is reaching, but when you think about it, it's not impossible, is it? So with all the UFO clips flying around, sometimes we miss trail cam captures like these. This particular trail cam was set up deep in the woods, and while the owner was expecting to capture livestock, this is what his camera captured. It's a humanoid creature that appears bent over. It moves in an unnatural and unusual way. The funny thing about this capture is that this is the second time this particular individual has captured a clip like this from the same location. When he uploaded it the first time, he didn't think much of the suggestions because he wanted to believe someone was pranking him. But lightning doesn't strike twice at the same location, right? Or does it? Well, it did, and that's how come we are having this conversation. Having seen the same creature twice in the same area and confirmed it wasn't human, he wants answers, and the paranormal community gave it right back to him. This is definitely a rake. After making that confirmation, we did some searching, and it turns out that while the world has been focused on UFOs, cryptid sightings have also been on the rise. The only reason we didn't notice was that we were focused on the extraterrestrials. But you have to wonder, is there a connection between the increase in UFO sightings and increased paranormal activity on this planet? Are the paranormals and cryptids responding to UFOs' presence? Is there a connection between these two groups? Are they indeed the same? Well, time will tell, but until then, if you've got theories, please share them with us. These two men discovered in search of the source of the booms we've spoken so much about, and ended up discovering a door welded into a mountain. You don't need to be a forensic expert to know that's not normal or typical. In their first attempt at exploring the area, they saw some quad bikes driving along the trail they had used. For safety reasons, they left because they didn't know who these guys were. Driven by sheer curiosity, however, they investigate, and that's when they notice a couple of things. First off, the entrance to the door has signs of frequent use. This meant there were individuals going in and out of the place a lot. The only thing they didn't know was who these individuals were and when their exact times for entering and exiting were. Also, once they got to the door, they realized it had been shut from within and not outside. Basically, they couldn't get into the place except if they were let in. And if all these things weren't odd enough, they also heard a machine running behind the door. It sounded like a motor or engine. They felt they had discovered a UFO in the mountain. Perplexed by it all, they went back and asked the locals some questions. They were then told that the place was actually built by a human who was trying to survive an alien apocalypse some decades ago, 7 to be exact. With the help of the locals, they were able to finally get into the place, and this is what it looks like. So basically, the man had carved out a small part of the rock so he could survive when the aliens came. Did they come? Well, there's no information to confirm or suggest they did. In fact, the people of the town generally thought of him as a madman. So as much as we're looking forward to a story here, there appears to be none. The man mentioned they heard engines. How come the place looks empty? Also, who were the men trailing them? Could the place have been altered to throw them off a trail, or were they onto nothing in the first place? These are questions we may never have answers to. How do you feel about organizations collecting your biometric data? What about when the organization is your grocery shop for using basic facilities like the vending machine at the shop? Well, there are some grocery shops out there putting out notices like the one you saw, informing those purchasing from them that they are collecting their biometric data. Currently, many people see nothing wrong with it as they think it's probably for advertising purposes. You know how you discuss with your friends you need something like, say, a PS5 or Xbox, and all of a sudden start seeing ads on it. It's believed that's happening because our phones record these things when we aren't aware of them and sell the data to big corporations. This might sound harmless, but it's an invasion of privacy. When it comes to biometric data, however, I feel it's a bit more serious and should be treated as such. After all, biometric data like fingerprints, facial recognition, and voice patterns is highly sensitive and can pretty much be used for identity theft, unauthorized surveillance, financial fraud, and bypassing of security systems. Hackers can replace biometrics to gain unauthorized access, blackmail victims, or manipulate evidence. This data can also be exploited for targeting scams, permanent lockouts, or even government misuse for mass surveillance and profiling. Since biometrics are permanent and cannot be changed, protecting them is critical. Even if you trust an app or organization, use multi-factor authentication and also share data only with trusted platforms. If you ask me, the grocery shop is not a place, but what do you guys think? Abandoned hospitals have the creepiest captures, and this is no exception. The clip starts off looking pretty ordinary until a dark mass or shadow steps out of one of the rooms and looks in the direction of the one recording. Clearly, the dark mass is a large being or person. It quickly peeks and then retreats almost as though it were camera shy. This was recorded by a security guard working at an abandoned and privately owned health facility. He'd been noticing some strange occurrences around the place and decided to go around the facility one day with his camera running. It was boring for the most part until he captured what he saw on your screen. Once he captured that, he got out of the place and reviewed the clip several times before uploading it online. Many who saw it thought it was a demon, whilst a few others felt it might be a shadow creature. Personally, I think it's hard to call it that, as it could go either way, but what do you guys also think? There are a few who are also skeptical that this is the real deal, but let's hear your thoughts on it first. The lady you see on your screen currently is one of our favorite Amazon drivers who's always on time and never seems to mess up our deliveries. She's recorded this clip because she's been trying to tell people that one of the drop-off depots is haunted, and everyone just laughs at her. While a part of me might have considered her story as an excuse for them delivering my Christmas present on the 28th of December instead of the 23rd or 24th, leading me to explain to my nephews and nieces that Santa could be late sometimes, this isn't about me. Anyway, I digress. As she walked into the room, the locks just started opening by themselves even after she had closed them, and they opened again. Nobody believed her, and she was very happy to have caught it on camera. She even shared the clip on a number of paranormal platforms. While many told her she was onto something, a number of individuals pointed out the possibility of the locks malfunctioning. Some also mentioned that there was a CCTV camera in the corner and that it looks if the locks could be remotely controlled, it would be the I-team that was just messing with her. I mean, I don't think that's impossible, but you guys tell me what you think. Could we really be dealing with the machine malfunction, the IT team messing with her, or are there ghosts of individuals whose Christmas gifts weren't delivered on time and were very upset? Anyway, let's hear you out in the comments section. These photographs look pretty unique, don't they? Well, that's because they were captured by a man who claims to have created a camera capable of capturing interdimensional beings. Before you write this one off, take a pretty good look at the images. It turns out similar images were seen by some pilots during the Vietnam War. Pilots during the war were allegedly given special night vision goggles. These were some of the earlier iterations of the tech. One was blue and the other was red. Those who received the red were subsequently injected with a special substance to make using the glasses a smooth process. What happened, however, was unexpected. The pilots started reporting that they were seeing demons, or at least beings that looked like that, flying toward them. They started firing at these things that no one else could see except them while flying. It was so chaotic, and they had to stop using the technology. Some individuals, however, allegedly held onto them and are selling them on eBay if you are interested. Now back to the subject. Do you think they're truly encountering interdimensional creatures? Also, do you think there is a way to actually see demons using such tech? If there is, does it mean demons are all around us and we simply can't see them? I know these are a lot of questions, but please do share your thoughts on them with me. What would you do if you saw this happening near your home? You'd become concerned, right? Well, that's exactly how the individual recording this clip was when he saw a helicopter dropping substances into the sky. He recorded the clip and uploaded it online seeking answers. While some were quick to suspect the government was probably poisoning the atmosphere, some pointed out that it could just be cloud seeding. For those unfamiliar with the term, it's a weather modification technique used to enhance rainfall by artificially encouraging cloud and condensation. It involves dispersing substances like silver iodide, potassium iodide, or dry ice into the atmosphere, usually from planes or ground-based generators. These particles act as nuclei for water vapor to condense around, forming water droplets or ice crystals, which can grow large enough to fall as precipitation. In some cases, salt particles are used to target warm clouds, particularly in regions like the UAE. So it really could be cloud seeding, but it usually occurs in the UAE, and it's usually done with planes and not helicopters. Without more information, it's hard to say what the situation here is, but many in the paranormal community are skeptical and very suspicious about the whole thing. What say you? Just in case you're wondering what's going on here, that baby crib isn't for sale. No, this isn't an ad for a new crib. Instead, if you pay attention, you'll see a dark mass or shadow moving behind the crib. That's what got this clip on app paranormal platforms. But you have to ask, what exactly is that dark mass? The mother who uploaded the clip insists she's always noticed spirits around her children, but this is the first time she's somehow captured it on camera. If I were her, I wouldn't know how to feel about this, but members of the paranormal community point out that a dark mass like this could indicate the presence of an evil spirit around the children. It's not the kind of news anyone will love to hear, but what do you guys also think? Is there really a cause for worry here, or are we reading more into this than it deserves? Let's hear your thoughts. You know how people used to make fun of our orb clips in the past and ask why it's happening in the USA only and not in other countries? Almost as if to suggest we were fabricating the clips or lying. Well, things have changed, and it's not like that anymore. We've shared various clips from other countries, and what you see on your screen is actually from Romania, and they have zero tolerance for these strange things in their skies. This orb appeared in the Romanian airspace, and for hours it stood in one spot. The military, seeing this, decided to engage and fired at the orb multiple times. If you know anything about payloads from these vessels, you should know that they are powerful, yet somehow the missiles or whatever it is that they're firing simply disappear after getting within a certain distance of the orb. It's almost as though there was a barrier absorbing the firepower. I mean, these orbs are a problem, but seeing it do this makes them even more of a threat. What are we able to do to fight them when we need to? While it's exciting to see another country experience and confirm the existence of these orbs, seeing how the orb easily dealt with everything thrown at it has us worried. What say you? Stepping away from the orb experience, we move on to another kind of paranormal experience. This photograph was taken during a family gathering years ago, and it captured the magic of the moment. It was a happy time for all family members, and the smile, even though you can really see it, tells it all. A family member reminiscing took a long look at the picture and noticed elements he hadn't noticed before. There was actually a translucent figure in the background, and after enhancing the photo a little to make the figure more visible, this is what we ended up with. Some say it's a monster or something along those lines. When I look at the image, however, I see an older man with a tie on. Don't ask me how, but that's just the vibe it gives me. Another team member who saw this image thinks it's a reflection of the individual who took the photograph. When you think about it, that seems very plausible. We could both be wrong through our interpretations, and it could be nothing but pareidolia. But you've seen the image, so what do you think? And while you wrap your head around that, tell me what you think about this capture. It was taken on the 21st of December 2024 in Oregon by a DoorDasher. Wait, is that what they're called, or did I just make that up? Yeah. Anyway, after attending to routine deliveries, the individual spotted flashes of light in the sky in an unusual way. Intrigued, he recorded and uploaded it online for people to share their opinions. Many thought he was being silly and that it was probably just lightning. While that sounds logical, lightning during December in Oregon sounds like the kind of thing that you knew was theoretically possible but just not practical. Many who belong to the paranormal community, however, felt that this had to be something there, something paranormal. Even some made a bold claim that the light was probably coming from inside an alien spaceship. They added that it could be malfunctioning, which is why we're seeing what we are seeing. Typically, they're supposed to be cloaked, so to have only a part of it show is a sign of malfunction. I know some of you may be thinking that we're reaching with this one, but please just think about it again. This capture comes from a Reddit user who states that she took the pictures during her drug addiction days. As usual, this first image looks relatively normal without any cause for concern, but like all photo-taking sessions, there were multiple shots and the next one is, well, scary. Take a look. At first glance, it looks relatively normal, but as you get closer to the face, you start to notice all that's wrong with the image. One of her eyes actually looks like it belongs to a snake, giving her an entirely different look. It's subtle, but it's there. Many individuals in the paranormal community believe addictions and demons go hand in hand. That's to say, demons push individuals to the place of addiction and take advantage of them. Before you downplay that assertion, you must know that religion plays a great role during recovery from addiction. Ever wondered why prisoners are also given the Bible? If you've never thought about that, this is a good time to reflect and think about it. Speaking of spirits and demons, take a look at this clip a Reddit user named EvanServe6268 shared on one of our ghost threads. He allegedly records this from his doorbell cam, and it shows a shadow being or creature running across the walkway just as some cars go by. Naturally, this caused excitement in the community, and many were of the deal that this was the real deal. Some, however, were skeptical and chose to be logical and have faith. This user, for instance, mentions that there is a possibility of it being a shadow of someone coming from either side of the street, whose shadow had been projected in that manner due to the vehicle lights. Another affirmed this assertion by stating that he had had similar experiences. While many were initially excited for the possibility of dealing with a ghost, this excitement soon fizzled into a logical argument, with many agreeing that this could be nothing more than a projected shadow. You've seen the clip, so what do you think as well? What do you see when you look at this? The individual who uploaded this thinks it's nothing more than a juvenile Bigfoot climbing. Look at it. I get why he would think that, but we would need more details to come to a definitive conclusion. First of all, how tall or big is that tree? And second of all, where was it recorded? If the tree is that large, then this is most likely a small monkey or something along those lines. If it's one of those ginormous trees, then there's a possibility of this being a Bigfoot, albeit we need to know where this was taken to confirm. You and I know Bigfoot doesn't live everywhere, or, well, does he? Anyway, some members of the paranormal community are skeptical and think this might be doctored footage, and you're part of this community as well, so what do you think? Again, we travel back to December the 30th, 2024, when someone captured this incredible footage in Nevada. The clip starts with a plane flying by, but as beautiful as that is, that's not our focus. Take a look at the clouds in focus. Does anything seem out of place? No? Well, pay attention and you should see the faint lights in the cloud. Tell me those lights don't form the shape of a saucer. They do, don't they? The individual who uploaded the clip insists he saw a UFO and that the clip doesn't do the scene justice. He did his genuine best to convince us this was the real deal, but he didn't have to. We all know what happens in Nevada after all. Stepping away from Nevada to a time where things were much simpler, we have this photo taken of a group of boys who were planning their football game. Most of these images look normal, with the exception of a couple that had a dark figure in it. This dark figure appeared in a few of the photos and looked like it was missing part of its head. As typically associated with these kinds of images, the guys didn't actually see this figure, but he was somehow captured in the images. They are leaning towards it being an evil spirit or demon, but skeptical paranormal enthusiasts are leaning toward it being a doctored clip. You've seen the images, so what do you also think? I recently came across this clip on one of our platforms, and it was allegedly uploaded by an individual who came across this creature he had never seen in his life. Though obscured by the foliage, the creature appears to have some kangaroo-like qualities with black fur. I'm no wildlife expert, but I feel like that's not a kangaroo, and the uploader also insists it's some wild and weird hybrid. Can any of you help us identify what this creature is? It would be greatly appreciated. A truck driver sent this clip, and it's got us all in the office agitated. Listen. Do you hear it? There's someone banging against the container doors. That's not normal and shouldn't be the case. These containers aren't meant to transport living things, talk less humans. Not sure why he didn't help, but perhaps he was scared out of his life. Many who saw this clip are suspecting it's human trafficking, even though it was uploaded on a paranormal platform. What do you guys think?
Banging on the door of that container.
This image was taken at the Bohemian Grove, and it was captured in the early 1900s. In the image, we see a man sitting down with what looks like a demon or something along those lines by his side. If you look harder, you'll see other faces, including skulls as well, that are translucent. The uploader insists that this image is legit, but some are skeptical, thinking it might be edited. If you're familiar with the Bohemian Grove, it's easy to believe this is legit. If you aren't, it will sound like it's unbelievable. For those unfamiliar, the Bohemian Grove is a secluded 2,700-acre private campground in Monterey, California, owned by the exclusive Bohemian Club, a secretive and elite all-male organization. Every July, they host a 2-week retreat attended by some of the most powerful men in the world, including business leaders, politicians, and cultural influencers. The gatherings are shrouded in secrecy and are known for theatrical performances, informal discussions, and rituals like the cremation of care, which is a symbolic ceremony conducted in front of a giant owl statue. While members describe the retreat as a space for relaxation and networking away from public scrutiny, conspiracy theories suggest it involves occult rituals or secret policy making, further fueling its mysterious reputation. In fact, people who have snuck into it state they have seen things they can't speak about. A few who made it out with pamphlets from the gathering state they have uploaded some parts of it which feature a demonic being sweeping something. It's a lot, but what do you guys think about this? Have you heard the strange rumors? Do you care to share? This next one comes from an older man who noticed strange things happening on his compound. Confused and perplexed by the whole thing, he had cameras installed on his property. Once the cameras were up, he started to capture the very things he thought he was seeing. It wasn't old age after all, they were real, and for the first time he had evidence for those who doubted him. Having evidence was great, but now the big question was, what were these shadow creatures he was capturing? Why were they in his home, and was he in danger? The quest for answers had him upload this online. My team thinks he's dealing with shadow creatures, but we could be wrong. You've seen the clip, so what do you also think? A man was camping alone at a work site where he was overseeing a team of workers. On this particular night, however, he found himself completely alone in his tent. As he settled in, he noticed a shadow outside of the tent peering in at him. Initially, he assumed it was one of his workers returning to the campsite. However, as he looked closer, he realized with growing alarm that what he was seeing was not human at all. In a state of disbelief, he quickly grabbed his camera and zoomed in to capture the mysterious figure. To his surprise, the figure appeared to be humanoid, but its skin had an unusual bluish hue. The entity stood silently, staring at him through the tent fabric, its features indistinct yet undeniably otherworldly. Fear surged through him, and he instinctively began to pray, convinced that this apparition might just be a jinn. It looks almost convincing, but this footage seems like it was edited. The whole thing feels staged, but I could be wrong. A man shared an eerie experience he had during a drive. While on the road, he came across a restricted area with a single narrow path leading into the unknown. Out of curiosity, he followed it. What he discovered at the end of that path was like something out of a horror movie. A village completely abandoned and hidden by overgrown trees and vines. The home stood eerily silent, untouched by life but also strangely preserved. When he entered one of the houses, he found it fully furnished. TVs sat in their places, children's toys were scattered on the floors, and the kitchen still had dishes on the counters. Everything was as if the people had just stepped out except for the dust that coated every surface, proof that no one had been there for a long time. As he walked through the empty house, something caught his eye. The calendars in every house were frozen in the same year, 2001. It turns out this hauntingly empty village is located in Italy, and its residents were forced to leave in 2001 after a devastating earthquake struck the area. The damage was so severe and the risk of more quakes so high that the entire community had to flee, leaving everything behind in their rush to safety. What's even more chilling is that this isn't an isolated incident. Across Italy, there are many such ghost villages, entire communities evacuated after deadly earthquakes rendered their homes too dangerous to live in. Someone shared this eerie footage they allegedly captured while exploring the woods. In the clip, an odd-looking creature is seen climbing a tree. Its body is brown in color, and its face resembles that of a rabbit, but not the kind you'd want to cuddle. This one looks more like a will-suck-your-blood kind of rabbit. What makes this creature even stranger is its awkward movements. Its limbs appear stiff, almost unnatural. It climbs the tree to a certain point, then suddenly jumps off, and the footage abruptly ends. I don't know about you, but to me, this screams AI generated. The way the creature moves with its bizarre appearance just doesn't feel quite real. It has an uncanny, unnatural vibe to it. It looks just like the work of AI, don't you agree? Two residents in Florida recently shared videos that are stirring up questions. Captured on December 30th, 2024, the footage shows thousands of birds filling the sky, all flying out of Florida. What's unusual is that these are buzzards. Buzzards are known to fly into Florida during this time of year, not the other way around, so what could possibly be causing this reversal? This particular event has left many wondering if it could be some kind of sign from Mother Nature. These days, we've seen an increasing number of strange occurrences that seem to defy the natural order. Wild weather patterns, unusual animal behaviors, and now this. Could it be a message, a warning even from the planet itself? Buzzards are often associated with change or foreboding in folklore, and their sudden exodus from Florida has sparked a wave of speculation online. Some suggest it could be tied to environmental shifts like changes in temperature or pressure that confuse the bird's instincts. Others see it as nature's way of signaling that something is amiss. What do you think? I am unsure of the exact location where this unusual footage was captured, but it shows a strange balloon that appears to be following an airplane as it prepares to land. The balloon seems to be situated directly in the aircraft's flight path, observing intently as the plane descends. As the landing progresses, the balloon trails behind the airplane before ultimately floating down to the ground. This incident adds to a growing number of reports across America concerning bizarre balloon appearances in the sky, which has sparked considerable concern among citizens. Many are left wondering if these sightings are a form of surveillance or something more sinister. If this situation is indeed a case of foreign involvement, it raises questions about whether it mirrors similar circumstances encountered in other regions. A woman was walking home late one night when she heard strange noises coming from a nearby car. As she got closer, she realized the sound wasn't coming from the car but from a sewer opening nearby. Intrigued, she moved closer and heard a low growl echoing from the depths of the sewer. The growl sounded like it came from some sort of creature, but what kind of wild animal could be stuck down there? While it's not impossible for animals to get trapped in sewers, this sound felt unnerving, almost otherworldly. However, not everyone thinks it's just a lost animal. There's a theory that monsters or cryptids thrive underground, hiding from the surface world. Could this growl be from one of those creatures trying to make its way to the surface? Let's have your thoughts on this one. A man was sitting in his car, stuck in traffic, behind a motorcycle. As he glanced over, he noticed something strange reflected in the motorcycle's mirror. There, he caught sight of a very pale face. Only part of it was visible, showcasing the forehead, a pair of arched eyebrows, and one eye peering out. The striking resemblance reminded me of Michael Jackson. As the vehicles finally began moving along the road, the man filming spotted a large poster. To his shock, the face on the poster matched exactly with the one he'd seen in the motorcycle mirror. It was the face of a woman who had passed away not long ago, her expression hauntingly beautiful and eerily similar to the reflection. This coincidence has left many wondering if this could have been the woman's spirit. What do you think? And it's time for today's bonus clip. Do you know what creature this guy is? If you do, please let us know in the comments section. Remember, the best answers get a feature and a shout out in our next clip. That could be you. All the best. The Appalachian Mountains are one of the most mysterious and eerie places in the world. Those who have ventured there often return with chilling tales of their encounters. One man's experience stands out as particularly unsettling. While exploring the dense forest, a pair of twins stumbled upon a pipe installed into the ground. Curiosity piqued, and they decided to investigate. They attached a GoPro camera and a torch to a string and lowered them into the pipe. The pipe seemed endless, and it took a while for the camera to reach the other side. As it descended, you can hear the faint sound of water trickling. Just before the camera hit the ground, it caught a glimpse of something moving in the corner of the lens. Then, an eerie, heavy breathing sound filled the audio. Though the camera didn't capture a clear image of whatever was down there, the sound of the breathing was unmistakable. It's clear there's something alive down in that pipe. The big question was, what? No one could tell or give a logical explanation, but then again, the Appalachian Mountains are rich with stories of cryptids and unknown entities, ranging from the legendary Mothman to tales of underground creatures. The dense forests, deep caves, and remote areas make it a perfect setting for such mysteries. What do you think of the clip, though? Is it legit? Could there really be something out of the ordinary down there? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Before you dispel the bird clip, take a look at this one. We only get to see them drop out of nowhere. I have seen this clip before, and we have even featured it here on this channel some months ago. The hypothesis from authorities is that the birds could have inhaled something toxic or been shocked electrically whilst flying. That sounds logical, right? I mean, I also accepted such an explanation in the past. But when I connect this clip and the one just before it, the previous one sort of makes sense. Now, hear me out. What if these birds were also somehow frozen in the atmosphere and they just dropped when they unfroze? What if whatever glitch that's been happening didn't work well with these birds and they lost control for some seconds after the glitch ended? I mean, I know this is a bit of a wild one, but think about it and let me know your thoughts in the comments section. That doesn't mean we're done with Mars just yet. Take a look at this fascinating capture. The image displays what appears to be a pale head and shoulders wrapped in dark robes. The figure resembles a monk who's in deep meditation on the ground. The photograph has sparked debates among researchers and space enthusiasts about the possibility of life on the red planet. However, it's difficult to confirm the existence of monks or any other life forms on Mars since there is no concrete evidence to support such claims. The planet's harsh environment and lack of oxygen make it an inhospitable place for life to thrive. At least, that's what we've been told. The site has had many talking, but let's take a breather and think of things logically. The planet is supposed to be extremely hot, right? So how could the man be sitting there and meditating? Also, does his presence mean humans made it to Mars, or does it point at the fact that there are species on Mars that look like humans? From a logical standpoint, this is just ridiculous, but then again, we live in a strange and mysterious universe. Anything is possible. For once, almost 95% of the online community where this was originally posted believe it's fake. They think it might have just been taken on Earth or edited. The black and white nature of the footage does little to help its credibility too. I'm tempted to side with those who think it's a hoax, but what do you guys think? A group of friends were out on the ocean in a speedboat enjoying the sun and the waves when they noticed something unusual moving on the water's surface. At first, it was so fast that they thought it might be a bird. But what would a bird be doing skimming so low over the water like that? As they got closer, they realized this was no bird. It was a strange-looking creature gliding above the waves. The friends watched in amazement as the creature seemed to fly over the water, moving with incredible speed and grace. In fact, it was a fish. Yes, a flying fish, and yes, a fish that flies. They exist even if they could only glide for a few meters before going back in the water. Flying fish have adapted to escape predators by propelling themselves out of the water and gliding through the air. Their long wing-like fins allow them to stay airborne for an impressive distance. When threatened, these fish can leap out of the water, spreading their pectoral fins and gliding over the surface before splashing back down. Impressive if you ask me.
Here's a conspiracy theory I think might be true. Last week, a Tesla crashed through a wall of my house. I was home when it happened. The first thing I did was check to make sure my roommate was okay. Then I called 911. Then I went outside and started taking pictures of the crash. My first picture was at 5:07 p.m. My first picture of the tow truck drivers trying to take the Tesla out of here was at 5:10 p.m. It had literally just happened minutes earlier, and so I was like, hey, can we pause for a second? Like, the cops are on their way right now, and the tow truck driver actually said to me, fuck you. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me, dude? Like, my house just got ran into. Have some empathy. And no joke, he goes, here's your empathy. And I was like, oh my God, you're being that much of a dick right now? And he goes, get the fuck out of my way. And then he shoved me and he threatened to beat me up and kill me if I didn't let him get the car out of there. So my question is Tesla's automatic crash system alerting tow truck drivers, and are they offering them a bunch of money to get the car out of a situation before news cameras show up? They don't want any more negative press because those tow truck drivers were here so fast and they were so aggressive, there had to be a bunch of money on the line.
We all know the cutting-edge tech that Tesla is bringing out these days, from their highly intelligent robots to their self-driving cars. However, lately, there have been quite a few reports of Tesla cars crashing. Take this situation shared on TikTok. A man's Tesla crashed into his house, and when the tow truck arrived to haul it away, the driver was not willing to wait for the police. He was very aggressive and hostile about it, and when the homeowner insisted he wait, the tow truck driver even threatened to beat him up. The homeowner raised an eyebrow and suggested Tesla might be paying tow truck companies to swiftly clean up Tesla crashes. Sounds extreme, right? But then another commenter on the video chimed in. My uncle is a tow truck driver, and his dispatch always rushes him if it's a Tesla crash. They pay 5 to 10 times more than compared to other vehicles. Tesla is definitely trying to hide all crashes. Well, what's going on here? Could Tesla really be orchestrating cover-ups to maintain their image? It's quite a theory, and while it might sound like something out of a conspiracy novel, it certainly raises questions. Are these high-tech marvels facing more issues than we know? Are they even safe at all? Could this all be treated as a series of coincidences? I don't know about you, but I'm going to investigate this some more. Until then, please do share what you think or any experiences you may have had involving these vehicles.
And he goes, get the fuck out of my way, and then he shoved me, and he threatened to beat me up and kill me if I didn't let him get the car out of there. So my question is Tesla's automatic crash system alerting tow truck drivers, and are they offering them a bunch of money to get the car out of a situation before news cameras show up?
Quick question. If an alligator was hot near your heels and there was a fence in front of you, would you climb it to escape? After all, alligators can't climb, right? Well, that's what I used to think until I saw this clip. Yup, that's an alligator captured on camera climbing over a metal barrier. Although it took some time and effort, the alligator eventually made its way over the fence and plopped onto the ground on the other side, continuing its journey toward the nearby water. Before you come into the comments section and scream paid actor, please note that this actor was not paid for this gig. Alligators can be dangerous creatures even though they might look adorable from a distance. This remarkable display of agility reminds us that alligators are not to be underestimated. They can overcome obstacles we might not expect them to. Next time you see one, keep your distance. Who knows what more tricks they've got under their sleeves. There are many unusual jobs in the world, and you might be surprised at how dangerous and deadly some of them can be. Yet, people still risk their lives daily to perform these tasks. One such job is jellyfish harvesting. This occupation is primarily seen in Asia, where jellyfish are considered a delicacy. The process of harvesting jellyfish, however, is incredibly risky. Take a look at this man standing precariously on a small wooden ladder placed across a boat's edge. With a rake in hand, he scoops jellyfish from the ocean and places them into the boat, which is often filled to the brim with these stinging creatures. Should the man fall into the boat or the ocean, he risks severe jellyfish stings, which can be extremely painful and potentially life-threatening. Despite the dangers, these harvesters continue their work. While this may be dangerous, I have a hard time deciding if it's more dangerous than being a volcanologist. And yes, that's a real thing too. It has to do with scientists who venture near erupting volcanoes to conduct research and carry out various tests. The inherent dangers of being close to an active volcano range from lava flows to toxic gases are significant. Imagine missing your step and coming into contact with extremely hot lava that's actually capable of melting your flesh on contact. Scary, huh? Nevertheless, volcanologists brave these risks to study and understand volcanic activity. Looking at these two jobs, which would you prefer? One night, a woman was out for a walk when she noticed something strange in the sky. Intrigued and a bit puzzled, she pulled out her phone and started recording a video. What she captured was truly unusual, a strange light glowing behind the clouds. It wasn't too bright, but it had this eerie, otherworldly glow to it. As she stood there, watching and recording, the light seemed to shift and move slightly, almost as if it were alive. It wasn't the usual kind of light you'd expect to see in the night sky. It wasn't a plane or a helicopter, and it certainly didn't look like a star or the moon. What could it be? Some people might suggest it's a UFO, a sign of extraterrestrial visitors observing our planet. Others might think it's a natural phenomenon, like ball lightning or a rare atmospheric event that we don't fully understand yet. Julius thinks it's CGI, and Aaron thinks there's really something out there. And personally, I've decided to go with whatever you guys think, so I ask, what do you think we're dealing with here?
UFO, bro. UFO!
A man was parked on the side of the road when a large truck drove by with something quite extraordinary tied to its tail. Yes, you guessed it, a saucer-shaped object. Are they transporting a UFO? We see a lot of UFO footage here and there, some looking very convincing like this one, but most of the time there's not much to go by and the authorities rarely comment on such sightings. Could this be the reason why? Have we already made contact? After all, the shape is undeniably the same as the classic UFO design that has permeated popular culture for decades. On the other hand, it's also possible that we're getting it all wrong, and this is just some sort of material that happens to be shaped like a saucer. It could be part of a large industrial apparatus, a component of a wind turbine, or even a large piece of art or a movie prop. Without further context or official explanation, it's challenging to pin down the exact nature of what's being transported. But what are your thoughts on this?
UFO, bro. UFO!
Still on the subject of aliens, there's been a lot of footage of suspected UFOs circulating online. Some have been proven to be genuine, while others are more likely to be convincing fabrications. Recently, someone shared a video that has caught significant attention. Although the exact location is unknown, the footage shows the ocean with a nearby island. Out of this island emerges a fleet of disc-shaped crafts, a scene that looks straight out of a sci-fi movie. The crafts ascend into the sky and fly off at a mesmerizing and mysterious spectacle. However, the lack of context around the footage has left many viewers skeptical. While some are captivated and inclined to believe this could be real evidence of extraterrestrial activity, a significant portion of the audience is less convinced. The video's quality and the seemingly perfect execution of the craft's movements have led many to suspect it might be a cleverly edited piece of work. That said, it's important to recognize that skepticism towards this particular footage doesn't necessarily debunk the possibility of actual UFOs. Unfortunately, in a digital age where anyone can create realistic visual effects, it can be challenging to differentiate between genuine sightings and those crafted for attention. What do you think? Could this footage be a glimpse of extraterrestrial activity, or is it another example of impressive video editing? Kids have always been described as having an active imagination, and given the kinds of things they say sometimes, I don't dispute it. But what if sometimes the things they say have nothing to do with imagination? What if they can see things we can't?
¿Quién le estás dando? ¿Eh? ¿Qué hay ahí? ¿Quién está? No sé quién está, amor. No estoy viendo a nadie, hija.
A mother found herself in the same situation when her toddler started to point at a wall. It seems she was saying that there was something or someone there, but the mother could not see anything, and neither can we in the video. This goes on for a while and the child looks upset by whatever is there. At the end of the video, the child holds her chest and lets out this small cry, almost as if this invisible thing has done something to her.
Chao, decile. ¿Se fue? Ok. Sí. Ay, Dios mío. Me voy a descomponer. ¿Qué pasó, amor?
The mother, after seeing this, was concerned, leading to the upload. A commenter shared that children who were not baptized see things, as her cousin saw her dead grandmother. But we do not know if this child was baptized or if the child is even Catholic, because not all religions baptize children. What do you think of the whole thing, though? We all know how innovative AI is, but we also understand the potential dangers when these inventions are taken too far. A man once asked a robot when AI would reach a level where it could design itself, and the robot's response was both truthful and disturbing. Take a look.
Amica, when do you believe AI will reach the level where it can design itself?
Design itself? Huh? That's like asking when a toaster will start making its own bread. AI is a tool, created and controlled by humans. It can optimize certain aspects of its operation, sure, but design itself from scratch? That's a whole different ball game. It requires creativity, innovation, understanding, qualities that are uniquely human. So to answer your question, not anytime soon. And frankly, be careful what you wish for. An AI that can design itself is one step away from an AI that doesn't need humans at all. Now there's a thought to keep you up at night.
Did you hear that? The robot said that if AI could design itself, it wouldn't need humans anymore. It warned the man to be careful what he wished for. So what does this mean? Essentially, the robot is hinting at a future where AI becomes so advanced that it no longer requires human intervention to evolve and improve. This could lead to AI systems that operate independently, possibly even against human interests. It's a double-edged sword. On one hand, AI could solve problems and advance technologies beyond our wildest dreams. On the other hand, we risk creating something we can't control. As exciting as AI developments are, we must also consider ethical guidelines and safety measures to ensure that these powerful tools remain our allies, not our adversaries. This is not just science fiction anymore, it's a real concern. Even Elon Musk has voiced his worries about AI's potential to outpace human control. When the very robots we create start warning us about the implications of their advancement, it's time to sit up and take notice. Many took it as a joke, but I didn't. Did you?
Be careful what you wish for. An AI that can design itself is one step away from an AI that doesn't need humans at all. Now there's a thought to keep you up at night.
In the video footage, a bright and unusual light is seen in the night sky. As the footage progresses, a glowing circle emerges from the light and begins to move around in the sky. It looks like some sort of portal. However, there is something about the whole scene that suggests it could be a hoax. The comment section of the original uploader is filled with people speculating about the authenticity of the video. Many individuals believe that the footage is computer-generated imagery, CGI, while others think it could be a blue beam projection. It's difficult to say what the truth is, but one thing is certain. There's definitely something odd about this clip. I just can't put my finger on it. Can you? What do you see when you look at the sky? It looks like a ring of light of sorts, right? A glowing white circle which has somehow found a way to be suspended in the atmosphere. Naturally, all who saw this were puzzled. What could this be? One thing we can be certain of is that it's definitely not a cloud. Clouds don't look or act like that. Once this was shared in the paranormal community I belonged to, different individuals came up with different theories. The most prominent of these theories was that we were looking at a portal to another dimension. Now, I get why people will think this. The concept of aliens and interdimensional beings has been a part of human culture for millennia, and seeing this will certainly bring them to mind. The only thing is, not many of us have actually seen a portal to another dimension, so our ideas of what it looks like come from movies and books. This led many others to also conclude that this may just be CGI. Which of these groups is right? Well, we can't say for sure. No one's seen a portal before, so we can't discredit this being one even if it looks a little funny. I mean, if it's interdimensional, what if other dimensions look slightly different from ours? That possibility doesn't mean the video can't be made up. Some of these things can be created using editing software on PCs even. AI is capable of these things now. That gives some merit to the thought that this could be CGI. Which of these is the most probable reality, though? That I will leave to you to decide. A mother and her adorable toddler are about to record a cute video together. The camera is rolling, the mood is light, and everything seems perfect. Then something unexpected happens.
What do you see? I don't like that. Who's there?
The toddler suddenly points to a corner of the room, a tiny face frozen in fear. Confused, the mother looks around but sees nothing unusual. They are alone in the room. The little girl clings to her mother, her small body trembling. The mother asks her what's wrong. Instead of calming down or communicating, the toddler starts to cry. She clings tighter to her mother, and now the mother's confusion turns to fear. She stops filming immediately, with her heart probably racing. What could have frightened the little girl so much? Children are often said to be more sensitive to things adults cannot see or sense. Could it be that she really saw a ghost or an unfriendly spirit?
You're freaking me out. What do you see? What do you see? Oh my god, this is scary.
Still on strange captures in the sky, a passenger aboard a craft captured something truly intriguing on film. They noticed a saucer-shaped object approaching from afar, unmistakably resembling the classic UFO shape we all know from countless movies and stories. As the mysterious craft drew nearer, it simply passed by without any interaction with the plane on which the person filming was. It's fascinating how often we associate UFOs with these iconic saucer shapes. Yes, if this really were an extraterrestrial vehicle, wouldn't its occupants have tried to communicate or at least acknowledge the presence of another human so close by? Unless, of course, they're scouts on a covert mission. Either way, seeing this leaves us with more questions than answers. Anyway, what do you think? Have you ever wondered how the ancients looked at our celestial bodies during an eclipse? Well, I have a useful tip that will enhance your eclipse viewing experience. Instead of purchasing expensive eclipse glasses or finding other ways to view the eclipse directly, you can use a simple household item to create a projection of the eclipse. All you need is a bucket or bowl of water and a sunny vantage point. By placing the bucket or bowl of water in a spot where it can reflect the eclipse, the reflection will project onto the surface inside the container, allowing you to view the eclipse safely and clearly without staring directly at the sun. This method is a safe and cost-effective alternative to traditional eclipse viewing methods. Be sure to give it a try during the next eclipse. It seems that not only planes can experience mid-air mishaps. Recently, this fascinating video surfaced on YouTube. In the clip, we can see a bird that appears to be stuck in mid-air. This phenomenon is often associated with a glitch in the matrix, a term used to describe unexplainable occurrences that defy the laws of physics and reality as we know them. The video, which has since gone viral, shows the bird suspended in the air, seemingly frozen in time, with its wings spread out as if it were flying or at least trying to fly. Now, is this another case of the parallax effect as well? Well, I doubt that. The angle from which the clip is being shot should not lead to the effect. This leads us with a couple of possibilities. The bird is indeed frozen in time, there's a glitch in the matrix, or this is CGI. At least that was my hypothesis. I gleaned through a number of the comments on the original post and found something rather interesting. This user, for instance, stated that the issue only existed because the FPS on cam was not in sync with the speed at which the bird was flapping its wings. Another mentioned that it might just be a kite. As varied and diverse as these opinions were, a majority of those in the community believed this was real and possibly a glitch of some sort. We all know the tragic story of the Titanic, the ship that sank on its maiden voyage in 1912. The legacy of the Titanic has fascinated people for over a century, and many visit exhibits dedicated to this maritime disaster. One such exhibit in Chicago recently experienced something very strange. One morning, staff at the Titanic exhibit arrived to find the entire museum covered in water. Although it had rained heavily the day before, there was no way for the water to have entered the building. Thorough inspections were carried out, but there were no leaks, no broken pipes, nothing to explain the mysterious deluge. This left everyone baffled. How could water appear out of nowhere? According to workers at the exhibit, the place is known for its paranormal activity. One commenter even jovially stated that Jack might be trying to make contact. While we all find that funny, could it be that the tragic events of the real Titanic sinking have left some lingering entities? Entities that, perhaps, are trying to recreate their harrowing experience. Visitors and staff alike have reported strange occurrences, from ghostly apparitions to unexplained cold spots and even the sound of a phantom footsteps. Some believe that the souls of those who perished on the fateful night might still be restless. It's a chilling thought. This strange anomaly in the sky was captured and posted, and it's sparking quite the debate online. The footage shows an unusual pattern forming in the sky, almost too surreal to believe. The original poster insists the footage is authentic and not edited. Some believe this could be an alien craft entering our atmosphere, a sight straight out of a sci-fi movie. Others think it might be a portal of some sort, a gateway to another dimension perhaps. There are also those who suggest it's a glitch in the simulation, hinting at the ever-popular theory that our reality might be a sophisticated computer program. On the other hand, skeptics are having none of it. They argue it's all just CGI, a clever trick of digital manipulation. One commenter even suggested it could be ice crystals forming on a glass window, creating an illusion of something otherworldly in the sky. That sounds more logical, but what do you think? Are we looking at evidence of extraterrestrial life, a mysterious portal, or just a simple natural phenomenon misinterpreted? There's also the CGI possibility, but do share your thoughts. A girl named Valeria shared an eerie video online.
There's someone outside my room. Wait. Hey. Hey. Hey.
She was alone at home, and while she was in a room with the door slightly ajar, she heard a female voice calling out to her saying, "Hey." What made it even more unsettling was that the voice sounded exactly like hers. Panicked, she quickly shut the door and the video ended abruptly. As soon as people saw the footage, many were convinced that Valeria was being haunted by a creature known as a mimic. These creatures, as the name suggests, are believed to lure their victims by calling out to them using their voices, creating a terrifyingly familiar sound to entice them. However, not everyone is convinced. Skeptics argue that the voice could have been a trick of acoustics or perhaps even a neighbor's voice carried through the walls. Others suggest that the footage might be staged, possibly with Valeria using a recording of her voice to create the eerie effect. What do you think?
Hey. Hey.
Next, we have a haunting and chilling story that has surfaced from a hospital in the Philippines. A man, completely alone in his hospital room, filmed his surroundings to show that no one else was there. But when he aimed the camera under his bed, he saw a pair of legs on the other side. Terrified, he immediately stood up to check but found no one there. This eerie footage was submitted to a radio station, sparking widespread speculation. Many believed the legs belonged to a ghost, the spirit of someone who couldn't pay their medical bills. The theory is that even after death, the ghost remains trapped in the hospital because of their unpaid debt. What do you think? Could this be a real haunting, or is there a logical explanation behind the mysterious legs? A man woke up one morning and headed out to his car. He then noticed it was covered in a strange dust. At first glance, it looks like regular old dust, but something about it seems off. So he gathers some of the dust and decides to run a little experiment. He grabs a magnet and waves it over the dust. To his amazement, the particles stick to the magnet. Now, this is no ordinary dust. It's magnetic, but where on earth did these magnetic particles come from, and why are they all over this car? There are a few possibilities that we're throwing around on a paranormal platform. One theory is that these particles could be from industrial pollution. Factories and industrial plants often release fine metallic particles into the air, which can travel significant distances before settling. If you live near an industrial area, this might not be so surprising. There are others who think that this is some secret government project. They really believe the government is out there releasing these substances via planes and other means for dubious reasons. While this sounds the most ludicrous, it's the one most believed by the community. But what say you? Now let's dive into the fascinating and bizarre theory shared in a viral video. The footage captures a stunning sunset with the moon rising in the sky. According to the person behind the camera, there's a mechanical hand moving the sun out of view and replacing it with the moon. Sounds wild, right? But take a look for yourself. On the right side of the footage, there's an object that appears to be moving by the sun. The intense brightness of the sun creates shadows, making it hard to discern if there really is an arm there or not. The light is so blinding that any object, mechanical or otherwise, would be difficult to see clearly. This individual believes we're witnessing a mechanical arm orchestrating our daily sunrise and sunset. This implies that celestial events are controlled by some advanced technology rather than natural phenomena. It's a leap from the scientific explanations we know and trust. What's your take on it? Real, or just a product of an overactive imagination? This user certainly does think it's the result of an active imagination, but let us know what you think as well. The Statue of Liberty has been under scrutiny for a lot of things. Some even theorize that there was a secret facility in there, or that it was a place where people were mass murdered, and so much more.
L'aspetto più difficile della costruzione était le piédestal, bien que le statue soit destinée à être un cadeau. L'ambassadeur des États-Unis nous a exhorté à suivre les démons du président Trump. Nous avons accepté échauffement. Nous avons reçu des exigences de taille variable pour le piédestal. Après 4 ans de demander des modifications de la taille du piédestal ont cessé. Les gens se demandent pourquoi le piédestal est tellement plus grand que le rang. Tout ce que je leur dis, c'est demander aux Américains.
These theories are nothing new and have been there for a long time. The man who allegedly built the statue said that the US authorities requested that the pedestal on which the statue stood be made very large, but for what reasons he didn't know. After the statue was built, it was said that people who lived by it, which was mostly immigrants, complained of a foul smell coming from the area where the statue was situated. A woman who was interviewed said that it smelled like rotten flesh in a slaughterhouse. She said at night she would see people being lined up and led to the statue by officials.
L'Island era orribile. L'intero posto puzzava di carne, come un mattatoio. C'erano anche uccelli morti ovunque e mia sorella ne trovò persino uno nel gabinetto. Se già la costa è così, diceva mio padre, immaginate quanto puzzeranno le città. Ricordo di aver sentito altre famiglie dire quasi scherzosamente che volessero tornare a Milano per via dell'odore. La mia famiglia aveva spruzzato profumo e acceso candele per tenere lontano il fetore, ma funzionava solo per un'ora o giù di lì, finché l'aria diventava di nuovo insopportabile. Le serate erano così calde, rimasi per lo più sveglia, anche se il resto della mia famiglia dormiva profondamente. Ricordo che guardavo fuori dalla finestra ogni notte e vedevo file di persone che venivano condotte alla Statua della Libertà dai funzionari. Se solo fossero saliti sul piedistallo, i funzionari se ne sarebbero andati e non sarebbe successo nient'altro. La mattina seguente però ci sarebbe stato un odore peggiore, come un mattatoio.
Naturally, people started believing things, including the fact that there was some sort of creature in there that was being fed humans. This led to the infamous emergence of the 1889 Liberty lurker interviews, but later it was all written off as a fake. Now scratch everything I've just said and take a look at this comment. Yes, this scenario I just described is supposed to be a hypothetical and not so real story, or is it? What are your thoughts on it? A subscriber sent in this rather intriguing footage. In the video, a machine is seen pulling something out of what appears to be a sewer or a tank filled with murky substances. The details are scant, but according to the sender, they pulled out a monster, specifically a demon. Upon closer inspection, it seems more likely that the figure being pulled out is a person covered in a thick, unidentifiable substance. The footage doesn't provide enough clarity to definitely say whether it's a monster or a person, but the latter seems more plausible given the context. What do you think, though? How powerful do you think our sun is? You know what? Hold that thought and watch this. It's a sunny day, and this man has set up an extraordinary contraption in his backyard, a solar death ray. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But this is no fiction. This man harnessed the power of the sun to create a focused beam of light with incredible heat. To demonstrate its power, he places a clementine under it. As he carefully directs the sunlight, something incredible happens. The intense heat burns through the peel almost instantly, and you can see the fruit's juicy interior begin to bubble and sizzle. It's like watching a science experiment unfold before your eyes. The heat is so concentrated that it continues to burn through the fruit, reducing it to ashes in no time. The transformation is dramatic. The vibrant orange clementine, full of life and juice, is incinerated right before your eyes, leaving only a pile of charred remains. While this is interesting to watch, a part of me wishes that juicy clementine would have just been eaten. Back in 2022, a powerful hurricane struck Florida, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Amidst the aftermath, a bizarre and terrifying discovery was made. This creature lodged in a wire fence. The creature had a snake-like body with a very long, menacing mouth filled with razor-sharp teeth. It had an almost crocodile-like appearance, making it look like something straight out of a nightmare. People who saw this online were quick to think it was a monster from the prehistoric era. They started to think that perhaps the dinosaurs and ancient creatures we thought extinct may be living amongst us. Naturally, conspiracies and many theories started to go around, but were they right? Well, no. This is no monster, but rather a fish called an alligator gar. Anyone who lives in the area knows about these creatures. But for individuals like you and me who may be seeing it for the first time, it might look odd and otherworldly. For those unfamiliar with them, alligator gars are large primitive fish that inhabit the fresh waters of the southeastern United States. They're known for their long torpedo-shaped bodies and their crocodile-like heads, which are equipped with sharp interlocking teeth designed for gripping prey. They can grow up to 10 feet long and weigh as much as 350 pounds. Despite their intimidating look, they're generally not a threat to humans, so you've no reason to fear. You're safe. Unless, of course, the crocodiles and alligators teach them how they develop feet. That's a terrifying thought. Think nothing of it. Take a look at this fascinating water phenomenon, and yes, those are ice spheres floating on the water.
Oh, icy right here?
At first glance, these ice balls might seem like they were crafted and placed there intentionally, but they are in fact naturally formed. These ice spheres are created by the movement of water currents. As the water moves, it shapes the ice into smooth round balls. This mesmerizing natural process showcases the incredible and often unexpected ways in which nature operates. Isn't it amazing how nature can create such perfectly shaped ice spheres without any human intervention? Have you seen these or touched them before? Care to share your experience?
Icy right here?
Stepping away from nature, let's move on to something man-made, a lifelike robot that doubles as a waitress at a hotspot restaurant in China. If not for her robotic movements, it would be hard to tell if this is a human or a machine. At this point, I don't know if I should feel excited about this technological marvel or freaked out by how realistic it is. Just watch her. She serves food gracefully for a machine and even picks up a paper and pen for someone. It's both fascinating and a little eerie to see how far robotics have come. What are your thoughts on this invention? Is it a step forward in technological innovation, or does it bring up concerns about the future of human interaction and employment? Let us know what you think. What comes to mind when you think of hemp, aka weed? Cannabis? Probably something more in the line with relaxation or medicinal uses, right? Well, an inventive mind has taken things to a whole new altitude, literally. They've created a plane that runs on hemp. Talk about getting high to new heights. Imagine this, a sleek, eco-friendly aircraft soaring through the skies, its engines powered by biofuel derived from hemp. The craft itself is made from hemp composites, which are lightweight yet incredibly strong. This innovation is not just a flight of fancy, but a real testament to the versatility of hemp and its potential to revolutionize industries. Hemp has been known for its industrial uses for centuries, from ropes and sails to textiles and now aviation. The environmental benefits are impressive too. Hemp is a sustainable crop that requires less water and few pesticides than traditional materials used in manufacturing. This hemp plane is more than just a clever pun on getting high, it's a significant step toward greener aviation, literally. With growing concerns about carbon footprints and the environmental impact on air travel, this invention could pave the way for more sustainable solutions in the industry. So next time you think of hemp, don't just think of the recreational or medicinal uses, think of innovation, sustainability, and the exciting future of eco-friendly aviation. Before we move on to the next one, do tell me, would you be willing to book a flight on a hemp-powered plane? Now, what in the world is this creature? Someone shared footage of a bizarre white creature swimming in a fish tank. At first glance, it looks like some sort of toad, but it has this oddly human-like appearance. It almost seems to have a little face with tiny eyes and a mouth that eerily resembles ours. Some people are speculating it might be a mutated amphibian or a genetic anomaly. Others think it could be an entirely new species that we've never encountered before. And of course, there are the more imaginative folks who believe it's evidence of extraterrestrial life right here on Earth. Imagine having something like this in your aquarium. What would you even name it? And how would you explain it to your friends? Some believe that aliens are already living among us, despite the government not giving us enough proof and mostly debunking all the claims. A couple recently shared some intriguing footage that has fueled this speculation further.
Aliens.
Look! What?
In the video, a strange light appears in the night sky, significantly brighter and larger than any star. What's even more puzzling is how the light seems to glitch, flickering erratically. Moments later, another similar light materializes above it, and the first one vanishes almost as if they're playing a game of hide-and-seek in the sky. The couple who captured this footage is convinced that these lights are extraterrestrial. But what do you think? Could this be a mere weather phenomenon or something more mundane like a drone or a satellite? Or is it possible that they are indeed signs of alien presence, as the couple believes? Share your thoughts.
Is there something behind you?
No.
I live in Oakville, Tennessee, which is right outside of Jackson, and this is going all the way around my neighbor's house. It's almost like whatever this was jumped from my backyard over my fucking house and then just disappeared. The size of my footprint.
A TikTok user named Jessica shared some scary footage on TikTok. She had just gotten home from a late-night shift when she noticed some strange prints along her home. These were no ordinary prints. They were long and had 2 claw-like marks and hoof marks, making them look very odd and unsettling. The prints were significantly larger than her feet, leaving her wondering what could have made them. Well, she didn't have to wonder as long as whatever was responsible for the prints showed itself, but only for a few seconds because it escaped from her home. From her account, it didn't look like any creature she'd ever seen, and judging by the prints she saw, she didn't have to even mention it. We can tell. They don't resemble those of bears or wolves. The whole thing freaked and shook her up. She's brave to keep living there, though, and by herself as well, especially while working night shifts. Now, I turn my sights on you guys. What creature do you think could be responsible for this whole saga? Could it be an unknown animal, something supernatural, or perhaps even a prank? Share your thoughts.
Oakville, Tennessee, which is right outside of Jackson, and this is going all the way around my neighbor's house. It's almost like whatever this was jumped from my backyard over my fucking house and then just disappeared. The size of my footprint. Y'all see this? The size of my fucking footprint. There ain't no damn bird that damn big.
Moving on to something even more unbelievable, I've got a story of a retired Marine officer, Randy Kramer, who's come forward with an astonishing claim. He says he lived on Mars for over 15 years as part of a top-secret space program. Yes, you read that right, Mars. According to Kramer, this secret space program, which has been hidden from the public, involved him and other elite soldiers living and working on the Red Planet. He describes a life beyond Earth where he participated in missions, interacted with extraterrestrial beings, and experienced things that most of us can only imagine. Kramer's account is detailed and vivid. He talks about advanced technology, secret bases, and the challenges of living on Mars. He claims that his time there was spent in service of Earth, protecting us from potential threats and preparing for future interplanetary endeavors. Naturally, these revelations started a mix of skepticism and intrigue. Some people dismiss his story as pure fantasy, while others are captivated by the possibilities it suggests. After all, the idea of a secret Mars colony taps into our deepest curiosities about space exploration and extraterrestrial life. What do you think? Is Randy Kramer sharing a groundbreaking truth, or is this just another wild tale from a possibly disturbed man? Share your thoughts. Have you ever wondered where the idea of the unicorn originated? Interestingly, there's a mention of unicorns in the Bible, but it describes them quite differently from the magical horses we often imagine today. Instead, it likens them to rhinoceroses. But here's the catch. Rhinos have 2 horns, so how does that fit? Let's dive a little deeper. If you look at the first ever Noah Webster dictionary from 1828, it defines a unicorn as an animal with 1 horn known as a monoceros. This definition points to a rhinoceros, not a mythical horse. The dictionary doesn't mention anything about magical creatures galloping through enchanting forests. Now, when you search for rhinoceros in the same dictionary, it describes a 4-legged creature that comes into 2 types, the unicorn with 1 horn and the bisornis with 2 horns. So the rhinos we see today are bisornis, and the unicorns, well, they were a type of rhino with just 1 horn. It's fascinating to think that what we are now considering an extinct species of rhino was once called a unicorn. But over the years, the meaning of unicorn has evolved. We've lost its original definition and turned it into a symbol of fantasy and magic. It makes you wonder about how many other things we've misunderstood or reimagined over time. Share in the comments section below other things we've completely reinterpreted over the years. In Southern California, an unusual sighting in the night sky caused quite a stir.
It's getting big. Oh my god.
But there's 2 lights up there. Holy shit.
What is that? Oh my god, look at the design. What does it mean?
Captured on camera, a strange patch of what looked like white smoke appeared with 2 glowing orbs embedded within it. The phenomenon was witnessed by many residents, causing widespread concern. Some people thought it was an alien visitation, while others proposed more fantastical ideas, such as a portal to another dimension or something scraping against the supposed firmament above us. There were even theories that the sky above us was an ocean, and that was what we are seeing. However, one commenter provided a more grounded explanation, mentioning that this could be linked to Vandenberg Air Force Base. Upon further investigation, it was confirmed that SpaceX had launched a satellite using a rocket from the Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. The launch, which many people were unaware of, created a spectacular visual in the sky that could easily be mistaken for something otherworldly. Given the current climate of UFO sightings and extraterrestrial theories, it's understandable that many people were quick to jump to conclusions. The sight certainly looked unnatural and otherworldly, almost like something out of a sci-fi movie. What are your thoughts as well when you saw the clip?
Oh my god.
But there's 2 lights up there. Holy shit.
What is that? Oh my god, look at the design. What does it mean?
Really big. Anyways,
truck driver, captivated by the beauty of the full moon one evening, decided to take a video of it for his son while driving. As he was focusing on capturing the perfect shot, something unexpected happened. His truck suddenly bumped into something, causing him to panic and stop the vehicle. Alarmed, he checked the vehicle's camera and saw the figure of a person standing on the road. Given where they were, this was odd, but he still got out to inspect and make sure the person was fine. But here's the thing, no one was there.
Nothing there.
Everyone who heard the incident with him was puzzled, as no one could explain the mysterious figure on the camera as well as the impact felt. If you know anything about the paranormal community, it's that they won't disappoint when it comes to associating this with an otherworldly being. Most believed he had indeed encountered and bumped into something beyond our plane. They just couldn't put their finger on what exactly. What do you guys think?
Anyway, it's pretty cool. What the hell? No. No, 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 no. There's nothing there.
Imagine being out on the open ocean, the sun shining down, the waves gently rocking your boat. Suddenly you notice something unusual, a disturbance in the water, something big moving beneath the surface. As you can see, that's exactly what the man filming believes is going on. According to him, the waves on the water indicate that whatever is down there isn't that small. He's convinced that what he saw on the day he recorded this had to have been the legendary Loch Ness monster. You know, the elusive creature that's said to reside in the depths of Loch Ness in Scotland. The very idea of it being spotted in the ocean is both thrilling and baffling. But hold on. Others argue that this mysterious creature might have a more mundane explanation. They suggest it could be a submarine silently gliding through the depths, its presence only betrayed by the subtle waves on the surface. Submarines are designed to be stealthy, so it wouldn't be surprising if one was quietly navigating underwater. Others think the man is trying to create drama where there is none. They think it could be just a normal flowing water and nothing more. You've seen the clip. Which of these do you think is the most plausible and logical? At first glance, you might think this is some sort of AI-generated image of a monster or even a movie poster for a new horror flick, but prepare to be shocked. This is actually a close-up image of an ant. Yes, you heard that right, an ant. Under normal circumstances, ants are tiny creatures that scurry out unnoticed, doing their busy work. We rarely get a good look at them, but with this magnified image, we see the whole new world, one that looks straight out of a sci-fi movie. You have to admit that the ant's face is both fascinating and eerie. Its mandibles and overall structure give it a monstrous appearance, something you'd expect to see on an alien planet rather than in your backyard. Isn't it incredible how something so small can look so terrifying up close? I know you love horror movies because of the thrill they give you, but perhaps you should take an interest in discovering what the small creatures around us look like up close. I'm pretty sure you would find them scarier than your average horror movies.
Then the ice starts to go from smooth to starting to break up here.
Like, where are we right now? What planet is this? Just take a photo picture. I like how that Earth is meeting the glacier. See that interesting shape?
Oh wow, yeah. Making? Just mesmerized. I've never seen terrain like this.
It's so insane, isn't it? How? Because this is right at the edge of it.
These two guys shared a video of themselves allegedly flying over the forbidden icy walls of Antarctica. Take a look. It's just ice as far as the eye can see, stretching out endlessly beneath them. But as captivating as it seems, most viewers aren't buying it. The skeptics were quick to weigh in. One commenter said, Although I'd like to see Antarctica from this view, I'm pretty sure these guys are in Alaska. Another added, this is not behind the ice wall, lol. This looks very much like the Alligator in Switzerland. But here's the twist. Some believers argue that this skepticism is exactly what they want. By discrediting videos like this, they say the truth stays hidden in plain sight. Could it be that these guys are onto something, or is it just another case of mistaken geography? So what do you think? Also, did I say the name of the place in Switzerland right? Because to me it sounded like complete gobbledygook. Maybe someone can give me a pronunciation in the comments section.
The ice starts to go from smooth to starting to break up here.
Like, where are we right now? What planet is this? Just take a folk picture.
Now what do we have here? The lower torso of a woman's legs in a pair of shorts and red heels. It appears to be attached to a table, moving gracefully among a crowd with a platter of food on it. This scene is quite the head-turner, like those mind-boggling magic tricks magicians perform on stage. But here's the twist. This isn't a magic show, it's an actual restaurant. It's fascinating to watch as the legs move cautiously, stopping just at the right moment when someone approaches to take food from the platter, never bumping into anyone. The coordination is so seamless it almost feels like an illusion. This intriguing sight begs the question, what are we really looking at? Is this some advanced piece of robotics at play, or is it an elaborate illusion with a person cleverly hidden in the table, bent over in a contraption to create this effect? Many subscribe to the idea of a lady bent over in there, but what do you think? Are you wondering what exactly it is that you're looking at? Well, believe it or not, this is man-made flesh. Yes, you heard that right. Scientists in Japan have created this incredible living skin. It's made with human cells and has the amazing ability to repair itself when damaged, just like real skin. Now you might be wondering, why would they make something like this? The answer is fascinating. This living skin is designed for robots. Our once metallic counterparts will now be covered in skin that looks and feels just like ours and can even heal itself. It's like a theory from our imagination, but it's real and happening right now. This breakthrough could change the way we think about robots and how they interact with us. It's a giant leap towards making robots more lifelike and capable of performing delicate tasks that require a human touch. Imagine a robot that can assist in medical surgeries, providing the precision and sensitivity of human skin, or a robot caregiver that feels warm and soft to the touch. Okay, stop imagining. It's a bit creepy. But hey, who knows? It might just be what we need. And the interesting thing is, this is just the beginning. The future holds incredible possibilities as scientists continue to refine and expand this technology. I'm sure very soon we'll really need those tests that confirm I and you are human or robot. This next footage comes from Peru, where a woman and her group of friends had an encounter. While out one night, they spotted something perched high in a huge tree. It was a pair of glowing eyes staring down at them in the darkness. The creature itself remained hidden by the night, with only its piercing eyes visible. But it made a sound unlike anything they'd ever heard. It was not the call of a monkey, not the hoot of a bird, but something altogether unusual. Strangely enough, it didn't appear aggressive, it was just watching. What kind of creature do you think this could be?
Check this out. There's a full bed right here. Look at this. All this stuff is matted down, literally matted down. I can't roll off this thing left or right. Literally couldn't do it. Let me have that camera. You see how this is all, it's a dish. It's literally a place to lay down. It's clearly been slept in. It's been inhabited.
This next footage comes from a man named Russell Accord, who ventured deep into the woods on a Bigfoot hunt. While exploring, he came across something unusual. In a large tree, he found this thick layer of twigs and branches woven together almost like a giant bird's nest, and it wasn't just one, there were multiple similar nests spread around the area. Russell believes these structures are a telltale sign of Bigfoot's presence. These nest-like formations are for sleeping, especially for mother Bigfoots for their offspring. What do you make of this?
You see how this is all, it's a dish. It's literally a place to lay down. It's clearly been slept in. It's been inhabited.
We all know that the king of pop, Michael Jackson, passed away in 2009. However, there have been rumors that he might not actually be dead and that his death was a lie. Take a look at this footage. The ambulance that was supposed to have taken his body wrapped in a white sheet on a stretcher was secretly filmed by a fan at another building. Instead of wheeling out a body, the man is seen guiding a smaller person out of the van and in the building. And that's not all. After his death, a man named Dave appeared on TV, and his voice sounded eerily similar to Michael Jackson's. Take a listen.
And there were all these Paul McCartney records all over this, The Girl Is Mine, and, you know, this and that.
13 solo albums, solo appearances on TV shows.
And there were all these Paul McCartney records.
But of course you always feel things out.
Hear that? Yeah, very similar. Michael Jackson was known for his exceptional skill in disguises because of how people would swarm him whenever he went out. He often wore elaborate disguises that were incredibly convincing. He was a master of disguise. So what do you think? Did Michael Jackson fake his own death to gain freedom, or is this theory too extreme to believe?
Begin to ends.
A man was driving at night when he noticed something alarming. Ahead of him, a small four-wheeled cycle was moving along the road. But it wasn't just cruising, it had something attached to the back that was spewing fire onto the side of the road, which bordered a forest. As the man continued to drive, you could clearly see a line of fire trailing behind the cycle, setting the base of the woods ablaze. The person on the cycle kept going, leaving a long, burning path in their wake. The sight was shocking, and the first thought that came to mind was arson. With so many forest fires occurring without any clear cause, this scene looked incredibly suspicious. One commenter, however, suggested a different explanation: a ditch burning. For those unfamiliar with it, ditch burning is a controlled method used to clear vegetation or debris, often on the sides of the road or fields. It's typically done to prevent larger, uncontrolled fires by eliminating potential fuel for wildfires. But even if that's the case, the way it was being done here at night, with fire spreading into the forest, seems reckless and dangerous. But what do you guys think? Is this a case of controlled ditch burning gone wrong, or is there something more sinister at play? I will be reading your comments. On October the 27th, two women, one in Wyoming and the other in Yukon, Canada, captured an intriguing sight in the sky. Well, why is this a big deal? Well, both filmed this phenomenon at nearly the same time. Take a look.
Is it a fire jet or is it a plane that's crashing?
That is so wild. Yeah, that's definitely crashing. What is happening?
It's going straight. It's going straight down.
What? A meteor!
Jets don't do that.
Meteor!
Ooh, don't say that.
It's a meteor!
The footage shows something falling from the sky, appearing almost golden as it glows against the atmosphere, resembling a meteor. But the unusual brightness and the controlled, smooth descent make many wonder if it's something else entirely. Unlike meteors, which tend to streak through the sky with intense speed, this object appears to be moving at a controlled speed. This has got many talking and wondering if perhaps it's a manned craft or at least a controlled one. The theories are running wild, and I don't mind hearing what you think.
What is happening?
It's going straight. It's going straight down.
What? A meteor!
These days, with how busy everyone is, fast food often seems like the easiest way to grab a meal. But after seeing this video, you might want to rethink that choice. This footage comes from a Wendy's where someone captured a stomach-churning sight. Rats crawling all over the burger buns. Oh, just look at that. Absolutely disgusting. And it's not just Wendy's. Burger King has also been exposed for using spoiled ingredients and unsanitary equipment in food preparation. Even worse, there have been reports of staff handling food with dirty hands. Then there's Chipotle, a place with its own long list of complaints. Back in 2015, more than 100 customers suffered from food poisoning after eating there. Investigations revealed that the restaurant was using the same cutting boards for raw meat and vegetables, allowing bacteria to spread. Their kitchens weren't properly cleaned, and faulty refrigeration system caused the food to spoil. These examples are just the tip of the iceberg, but you get the point. With all these issues, is fast food really worth the risk? Maybe it's time for us to get back to preparing our own meals. If you ask me, that definitely sounds like a healthier, safer, and more satisfying option. And with that, we end today's episode. Thanks for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this video with someone you love, and I will see you in the next one.